Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you're all doing great and that you're all having a wonderful day wherever you are. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. It is a free and easy way to support the channel. It helps out the algorithm a lot, and a very big thank you to everyone who leaves a comment every single video. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. We are in the midst of something insane. I dare hold back the word great or spectacular, but that's probably exactly what it is. We are witnessing history. We're looking at directly in the eyeballs the end of the US dollar. The end of the US dollar's legacy. We're witnessing de-dollarization. We're witnessing companies daily announcing that they are getting into Bitcoin or are buying more Bitcoin. Something is happening. I do not explicitly know what, or believe me, I would tell you. But a lot of the news that we keep getting every single day has to do with something revolving around those issues. It is either the US debt is unsustainable and Bitcoin's going to thrive because of it. The US deficit needs to be gotten under control. If not, Bitcoin's going to become the world reserve currency. A brand new company has announced that they are getting into the cryptocurrency space and they're going to be buying a huge amount of Bitcoin, and or a company who's already been in the space says that they are trying desperately to get away from fiat and they are going to be throwing an egregious amount of money into Bitcoin as well. We recently heard from, it was MetaPlanet, but there was another company. I can't remember. MetaPlanet announced, maybe that's the one that sticks in my head because it's such a ridiculous number. MetaPlanet is currently on their way. They're trying to acquire $5.4 billion US dollars. Yes, it's a lot of money. It's like an unreal amount of money that many people could not even begin to imagine, because they no longer just want 10,000 Bitcoin. They now want 210,000 Bitcoin just for themselves. They said by BY 2027. That means before, or the literal January 1st, 2027, they are going to have 210,000 BTC. A lot of companies are upping their numbers. We previously heard before purchases of 14 million, 12 million, maybe $22 million, which is also a large amount of money. And a large amount of Bitcoin. Those numbers are going a lot higher. Paris-based cryptocurrency company called the Blockchain Group is planning to raise over 340 million US dollars for their Bitcoin treasury. Everyone is upping their numbers. It is incredibly weird. When I say that something's going on, it's because all of these companies were doing 5 million purchases, 12 million purchases. And we'd get news about them maybe once a month, maybe every 2 months. This is now daily that they're all ramping up these numbers. The Blockchain Group is trying to raise money, $340 million to buy more Bitcoin. It says signaling continued institutional adoption of crypto in Europe. The thing about it is that, and I remember this as well, we usually, and it's not a negative thing, but we usually get pushed in one direction, that this is the thing that's happening and no one else is doing this kind of like that. I can't imagine how many other companies within France who aren't publicly listed, who are also buying up Bitcoin. Other companies that are publicly listed who are probably buying it through shell companies or whatever. Like, this isn't the only company that's doing so. The blockchain group, which claims to be Europe's first Bitcoin treasury company, plans to raise 300 million euros or 342 million US dollars to fund more Bitcoin purchases, according to a news release. The $340 million round structure is inspired by the US practice of ATM, or at the market offerings. Shares will be sold at market conditions initiated by the company's counterparty, subject to a pre-agreed volume. The raise will be carried out in tranches. Is that also a word in English? I know that, I assume it is, because I know in French, like, you can say, like, it's tranche, but I've never seen the word tranches in English. Okay. The raise will be carried out in tranches, with pricing based on the higher of the previous day's closing price of the volume weighted average price. Wow, wonderful, love it. Capped at 21% of that day's trading volume, the announcement said. And here's the actual press release for it of what they plan on doing. Yeah, so obviously, this was major news. The blockchain group has become more popular over the course of the last few months. They're not as popular as Metaplanet or MicroStrategy at the moment, but if they continuously make purchases like this, they are going to be. There was another new company about 5 days ago who announced some purchase, and I think their stock price went up by 170% on that day. There's also there's a lot of hype, not even behind the scenes, just within the stock market. Circle, the stablecoin issuer, just went public, and their stock, I think, rose by almost 200% on the day. Stock trading had to be halted multiple times, which just smells like manipulation to me, but okay, why not? Some other company announced that they were also going to be buying another 25 million worth of Bitcoin. Their stock price went up by 38%. It seems to be like a real cash cow for a lot of these companies, simply announcing that you're getting into it and then being like, hey, we're also like buying some as well. Like, I mean, it is really weird because this is what Michael Saylor said was going to happen about 2 months ago. If you missed those videos, he said there are a bunch of companies who are listed on stock exchanges and no one really pays attention to them. He's like, you want to get people to pay attention to you, start buying Bitcoin. And then after that, we had 18 other companies who announced that they were going to be doing it. So I guess it works. But we are probably logically going to be hearing about more companies doing this because it seems like the thing to do. Yep, very popular news. Everyone was talking about it. It's a huge topic of discussion. But I mean, realistically, it also should be. We're constantly hearing about one company doing something like this. If we had heard that like 38 companies over the course of this entire year had purchased $300 million worth of Bitcoin, that would make, I mean, years ago, it would have made big news. But with all these companies buying up all the remaining Bitcoin that's left on exchanges, you know, I guess it should make big news. That's the blockchain group, 343 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin. I assume this month is what they're planning on doing. And yeah, let's move on. Also in I wish this news was more popular. It's funny, the actual stuff that would directly affect normal cryptocurrency investors tends to not make very popular news. Something we've been going over for the better half, if not all of the last 3 years. The amount of Bitcoin on crypto exchanges is rapidly decreasing. The amount of Ether on crypto exchanges is rapidly decreasing. We had news weeks ago. There was one day. There was one day where $1 billion worth of Bitcoin was taken off of exchanges. To put it into context, on a normal day, there's still around 180 million being taken off of exchanges. That also is a very large number. When it got to $1 billion, that was just on Coinbase alone. So for reference, the other crypto exchanges had outflows that same day of 120 million, 330, but only Coinbase made the news because of the 1 billion. This happens every time that there's a bull run. We see that rich people, wealthy wallets, take their Bitcoin off of exchanges to basically make the supply dry up. This is usually the mistake or the misconception that a lot of people have during a bear market. They see that there are more coins on an exchange and people assume that those coins are ready for sale. As I've been saying over and over, those coins are not liquid. They do this every bull run and every bear market to make it seem like there's more or less actually out there. It's a very clever tactic to basically manipulate the market. If you put your coins on the exchange, people go, well, this is so bearish. And then we keep realizing, wait, those wallets are still purchasing every single day. During a bull run, we tend to see people taking their coins off of it. And for reference, never this much. We don't usually have these levels. We see that coins are leaving. It's a bullish indicator, but we're not getting news that like 30% of the supply is gone. If you missed that other video, that was about a week or two ago. We heard that 30% of all the remaining Bitcoin on exchanges had been taken off in a very short period of time, basically leaving the other coins to diminish and flow out as well. And the misconception being people think that all of those coins are liquid. They are not. The Coinbase premium metric has reached its highest since February as U.S. demand for Bitcoin accelerates. Signs of overheating, however, remain absent. Yes, the entire fear and greed index, despite the buying, despite prices going up, despite the institutional adoption, we have not ticked over into extreme greed. We can usually get those metrics as well of, what is it called? Overselling or overbuying. I don't know why these things exist for such fragile and rare assets, but okay. One of the things a lot of times that we used to get in the news, if Bitcoin went up by 14% in 2 weeks, the market's overheated. It's overbought. You got to watch out, like that kind of thing. Even then prices would still go a lot higher. Signs of overheating are not there, signaling basically that like there is actual huge amounts of demand for this. Predicting positive trends throughout the end of 2025. Exchange reserves continue to decline, with spot exchanges down 550,000 Bitcoin. Spot cryptocurrency exchanges are down by 550,000 Bitcoin in under a year. Bitcoin is seeing a surge in buying from U.S. consumers in a key 2025 tailwind, analysts have said. On-chain analytical platform CryptoQuant showed the Coinbase premium metric hitting its highest levels since February. U.S. Bitcoin demand is staging a convincing comeback as the Coinbase premium tags multi-month highs. The premium, which reflects the difference in price between Coinbase's Bitcoin to US dollar and Binance's Bitcoin to USDT pairs, is often used as a proxy for US buyer appetite. Basically, like the kimchi premium, as it's called, for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency buying within South Korea. The idea is so for instance, years ago, we would see Bitcoin's price on Coinbase is 12,000. For some reason in South Korea, it's 13,300. That's because the crypto exchanges, it sounds ridiculous, but this is how it works. The crypto exchanges have to buy Bitcoin to be able to sell Bitcoin. So as there's a limited supply of Bitcoin, these exchanges were buying what they could to be able to sell. The problem is that there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. So at some point, as demand keeps rising and there's less crypto on these exchanges, the price organically goes up. If Coinbase, random number, if Coinbase has 100,000 Bitcoin for sale and the South Korean crypto exchanges have 20,000, and that 20,000 becomes 15, becomes 10, becomes 5, you get a premium on it. So they're usually basing it on this kind of like metric kind of idea. As the crypto exchanges do not have an unlimited amount of Bitcoin, there then tends to be a literal premium on the price. This is how it works. And this is why a lot of times, like I keep using the word misconception. It's the only thing that fits there. People don't understand the idea of digital scarcity. These crypto exchanges are not gifted Bitcoin. They didn't start out by saying, hey, guys, somebody just sent me 330,000 Bitcoin. Should we sell it? No, they have to acquire it for themselves, and then they have to like sell it. But the problem is that even for them to acquire and accrue more coins is becoming more difficult. So as we see the amount of Bitcoin on crypto exchanges dropping and no new Bitcoin entering, remember, the only new Bitcoin that was going to crypto exchanges is just coming from smaller holders, smaller wallets from retail investors, people who have 0.02 Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price doesn't go immediately to $9 million. They get flustered and frustrated. They sell their coins. They put their coins onto crypto exchanges. They hit sell. They sell it for something else that they think has more prospects. And then we see that buy order disappear because someone bought their coin. And it's usually an institution. Where do you think these people who are raising 300 million US dollars are getting their coins from? When we hear that there's 550,000 left or less, where do you think like, yes. So anywho, yes, Coinbase's premium has returned. I think it was something like it was over $100. That was their premium. So it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was something for people to say like the demand is definitely there. So cool. I look forward to seeing a $200,000 and $300,000 Bitcoin because the price is incredibly low. I don't care what anyone says. The price is dramatically low for all the movement and accumulation that we're seeing. We may hear daily from one company who's just starting to buy or one who has already accumulated. That doesn't stop the other 70 companies who we heard from before over the last year. They're all still accumulating as well. That's the Coinbase premium and more than 500,000 Bitcoin left exchanges. Yeah, just imagine what the next couple of years are going to be like, everyone. Keep making sure that you're paying attention. And yeah, let's move on. Also in this, it's not that this shouldn't have been popular news, but it's very like 2017, 2018 kind of energy regarding this. The NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange announced years ago that they were in support of crypto and cryptocurrencies, and more specifically back then Bitcoin. You can find the old articles where I don't know if it was previous or current. I don't know if they're swapping out. The CEO of the NASDAQ and the CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, never forget this. They both said within like a day or two of each other that Bitcoin was going to become the world reserve currency. This is in 2017, 2018. Find the article. Type in CEO NASDAQ, Bitcoin world reserve, and then type in the same exact thing for the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange, and you're going to be flabbergasted. This is what I remember saying years ago. I was like, something really crazy is taking place. And that's when I was far more eccentric in my videos. I was just screaming nonstop because I've cooled down. I've cooled down because I realized screaming does nothing. If people are in the market, they're in the market. If people want to ignore it, they're going to ignore it. It's the same exact thing with every other market. If people don't want to make money, if people want to complain, if people don't want to put forth effort to become richer, me screaming into a microphone is not going to help them at all. So years ago when they announced their support for crypto, they began to file like indexes, which is literally just them posting. You know how like on like the banners that you see on TV, like with the prices scrolling by, it'll say like the price of this stock, the price of that company, the price of this. Gold is down, silver's doing this, that kind of thing. They added that years ago for Bitcoin. So this is now the next iteration. The NASDAQ Crypto Index has apparently expanded its lineup from 5 to 9 digital assets. The SEC's decision is pending on whether the Hashdex NCIQ ETF, which tracks this index, will be allowed to align its portfolio with the expanded index. The NASDAQ Crypto Index recently expanded its composition from 5 to 9 coins. They now have added XRP, Solana, Cardano, Stellar, Lumens as well. Previously, this only included Bitcoin, and then they added Ethereum, Litecoin, Chainlink, and Uniswap. Wow. I haven't said the words Chainlink and Uniswap. It must have been at least 2 years. Chainlink and Uniswap were the original Solana. As far as like hype wise, I know they have different functions, obviously. But years ago, Chainlink and Uniswap, they were tagged as like the brand new amazing coins on the block. No one could stand up to them. People thought that Chainlink was going to be the new Ether. Uniswap was going to be the new Ether. So it was that kind of thing. So XRP makes sense. Solana is garbage, but people love it. Cardano makes sense as well, I would say, because it was one of the coins that was announced is going to be in the United States' crypto strategic reserve. Stellar Lumens there also doesn't make a lot of sense. I've seen people the last 2 weeks and I haven't figured out why. I assume it's desperation. A lot of people in the last 2 weeks have been talking more about Stellar Lumens as like a contender in the space. And it's weird because we've had no news at all about Stellar Lumens. I don't remember it being added anywhere. I think it was spoken about in some government report as like these are the coins that were made for banking, like that kind of thing, because Stellar Lumens, for those of you who don't know, is a copy of XRP and was literally made to do the same thing, but people have chosen XRP over it. So I could have even, now this is going to sound crazy, I could have even seen Tron over Stellar Lumens because I think Tron is currently the blockchain with the largest amount of tether on it. So that would have made more sense. Lumens is kind of, it feels always desperate for me. The same exact thing with still listing Chainlink and Uniswap. Like they're popular, but they're not that popular. But these are the coins that they have chosen for their index. The updated index serves as a benchmark for the Hashdex NASDAQ Crypto Index US ETF. However, the NCIQ ETF is currently not permitted to hold the newly added assets due to existing SEC rules, which is limiting them to only investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum only. I'm really, not a joke, I'm really excited for like anything with the SEC being in the news to disappear. Sometimes I feel like the SEC does these things to remain relevant. Not in a joking manner. I really feel that, especially with old man Gensler, I really feel like they did these things to let people know that they existed. The fact that you need to have a rule change or paperwork done or all these other things to be able to hold other coins or to create an... This is why I hope that this month and next month, I hope that of the 70 ETF applications, I hope at least 50 or 60 go through, so that when we do get new ETF applications, that is not even major news. It remains major news because of how stringent and annoying the SEC was before. So once we get, hopefully, an avalanche of different altcoins and other things like that, they're ETF approved, we then won't have to have a conversation of, will this go through? Because we'll already know that coin already has 12. If it doesn't go through, their paperwork was a little wonky. Something was wrong. And the same exact thing with not a company not being able to hold an asset. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not 1972 anymore. Like, we've come so far, but then also we have to constantly like wait hand and foot for these institutions and for these companies to like pat us on the back and go, okay, now it's time. I'm hopeful that the current brand new, as they're calling it, SEC, by the end of the year, for the love of God, just give us proper regulations. You are the regulator. Create a list like today. What are you waiting for? Just do it. If you have so many people working in the office, create a list and show us exactly which coins are securities and are not, so we can move on from that. Put forth as many ETFs as possible so we no longer have a discussion as to if they can go through. If you want a fair and free and open place for investors to be able to decide, they need stuff to be able to decide from. That was something that they said years ago. They were like, yeah, we're trying to make a fair and open. Well, it's like, well, the problem is that a lot of scams would happen years ago because people were looking for things like ETFs and they didn't know where to go. If you want to make a securitized something that will alleviate investor tension and also give them some place to go that is regulated, create the regulations. Anyway, this was very popular news. Who knows how much further, how many other coins they're going to add. 3 of the coins are very weird. I'm just talking from a logical perspective. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for this video, everyone. I do hope that you're all doing well. Hope you're all absolutely fantastic. Thank you, every single one of you, for watching the videos, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, leaving comments on the videos, looking at the videos, and videoing the videos. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.